What's up, party people? I'm Kristen Hancock, and I am back with another hot take. And today, I want to talk about dreams and failure. I have always had a dream to create a professional development event that is pure magic, the most fun you've ever had at any sort of PD event, never mind at just an internal comms event. One day, I will fully achieve that dream with a full scale conference with hundreds of people and lights and magic and big names and all the crazy glitter fun you can imagine. In the meantime, through Ecology, I have had the pleasure and privilege of putting together events for our members and for anyone else in the internal communications industry. The first of those events happened in September of 2022. Of course, we'd wanted to put together events starting in 2020. We all know why that didn't happen. So in 2022, we started brainstorming about what kind of event we could put together that would be so much fun, the best time for people, and truly at the core, a meaningful way for internal communication professionals to get together and connect and learn and grow. Camp Ecology was born out of this brainstorming session. If you know me, you know the irony of me hosting an event with a camp theme. I haven't been in a tent in 30 years, and I don't plan to be anytime soon. But of course, the theme provided all kinds of fun for how the event was structured. We were going to have a small group of no more than 25 people in downtown Chicago. There was a field trip as part of it, all kinds of amazing camp themed activities. In fact, one of the speakers even brought a tent to put together. So much fun. So we launched the event. We have amazing branding around it. There's a rainbow campfire logo. Everything is so fun. Everything is so great. And a couple of weeks before the event, I am in tears in the backyard because no one is signed up for this event. Not a single person. Aside from the speakers who we have already compensated and who have already booked travel to come to this event, there is not a single attendee coming to this event. This is, by all counts, a failure and also a bit of a financial disaster. So we regroup, start putting together lists of people, and start reaching out one-on-one to people that we know, friends, even family members, anyone who might be able to connect with someone who would be interested in attending this event. I will stop short of saying that we begged people to come, but there was definitely some pleading involved. By the week before the event, we have 16 people attending this event. Is that the 25 that we wanted? No. But given the fact that nobody was signed up a couple of weeks before that, 16 seemed like a decent number to test out this event concept with. So we move forward. And in the days leading up to this event, every day for 4 days, somebody canceled their registration. COVID, family situations, more COVID. There were a number of different scenarios that came up in people's lives, and they couldn't come anymore. By the day that camp rolls around, I actually got up that morning laughing, saying, I wonder who I will hear from today who can't make this event. We ended up with 12 people. The night before, I remember being in the hotel room and thinking, I have got to move forward with this event. I have got to put everything into it and give everyone who is attending the best experience possible. I can't focus on how many people are not coming. I have to prove to everyone who's there that this was worth their time and their money to go. The event itself, the single day, it was a day and a half actually back then, was nothing short of magic. It was one of the most impactful professional development events I have ever been to. I am biased, but I also have received that feedback from everyone else who was there. Because there were only 12 people in that room, it turned into this very intimate, impactful, magical day. I don't know if I will ever top that experience, and that's okay because we started off with a bang. We started off on a high note. But back to my conversation about failure. That event, by all means of measurement, was a failure. It was an attendance failure. It was a financial failure. From a business standpoint, the event failed. And yet we learned so much from it. It was still an incredible experience for the people who were there. But what I find fascinating is when I share that with people and I say to people, oh, our first event failed. The immediate reaction is for people to argue with me and tell me, oh, that's not a failure. It wasn't a failure. Everyone had a great time. We're so afraid of calling something a failure or admitting that something failed. I'm not saying I'm a failure. I'm saying the event was from a business metric standpoint. And I don't need someone to tell me that it wasn't a failure. The magic of it was the learning that came out of it. Something can fail and also be a learning experience. In fact, it should be if it was a failure. So I will always say that our first Camp Ecology event was a business failure. And yet we grew from it. We learned from it. And now, 2 years later and 5 camp events later, we are almost sold out for our Camp Ecology in 2024. So, the lesson from all of this, let yourself fail. Call it a failure. As long as you're not calling yourself a failure, that's okay. We can fail, we can learn, we can grow. And if someone tells you that something they did flopped, you can say, oh, I've been there too. But it doesn't mean you're a failure. And it does mean we can take some learnings out of it together. So I will leave you with that. Please go forth, fail all you need to, call it a failure, call it a flop, and go through all the magical things that you learned in the process. Here's my hot take for the week. Go forth and fail.